Let's talk about Single Sign-On or SSO in Percona Everest. With SSO, users don't need to manage separate usernames and passwords for Everest. Instead, they log in using their existing company identity providers, like Okta, Google, or Azure ID. This improves security and makes the login process much easier for teams. Everest uses OIDC, which stands for OpenID Connect, a protocol for communicating with your user identity provider. The identity provider checks your identity and sends Everest a secure token, confirming who you are. When integrating Everest with an identity provider, we need to configure OIDC on the provider side. Let's use Okta as our example. Okta is a cloud service that manages identity and access. It works as an identity provider, IDP. This means it checks who you are when you log in and sends Everest a token through OIDC. In Okta, go to Applications, then Create App Integration. Here, we select OIDC, OpenID Connect, as the sign-in method and choose Single Page Application, because Everest is a web-based app that runs in the browser. Next, we set the application details. The app name can be anything, for example, Everest. The sign-in redirect URI must point the Everest with /login-callback at the end. For local testing, it could be HTTP localhost in the port 3000 and /login callback. The sign out redirect URI points to the Everest homepage. For example, HTTP localhost 3000 in local. These redirects URIs are very important. If they don't match, login and logout will fail. Once we save, Okta gives us a client ID. This is the Everest identity inside Okta. We also go to Security, API, Authorization Servers to copy the issuer URL. This tells Everest where to request tokens. Remember, Okta requires HTTPS for production, so you will need to run Everest behind a secure connection. Let's now configure OIDC in Everest. To enable OIDC in Everest, we use the everestctl command. everestctl settings OIDC configure. It asks for two important pieces of information: issuer URL, which is the endpoint from your identity provider like Okta, and client ID. This is created when you register Everest as an app in your identity provider. Once you provide them, Everest automatically adds the required scopes: OpenID, profile, and email. Behind the scenes, when you run the OIDC command, Everest saves the configuration inside Kubernetes. It goes into a config map called Everest Settings in the Everest system namespace. Here you can see the issuer URL and the client ID we just set. We don't edit this file directly. Instead, we always use the everestctl command to update it safely. Just a note, if you were using port forwarding to access the UI, you will need to run it again after the restart. In the next video, we will log in to the Everest with SSO and see how the login flow works.